set, go. Three guys, one mic, a lot of heavy. Oh yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm Jeff Crenshaw and you're listening to Heavy Set Go. We got some bad news for you. Ben is off doing his own thing. He's out conquering demons and dragons and whatnot. Alan Burrell, the poor guy, found himself lost in the forest and he's trying to find a grown-up to help him find his way back home. So prayers out to him. So it's just me of the regular crew today, but we do have guests. The first one I'll introduce, he's known as a legend. Some people call him a red menace because of his phoenix-like hair. Although phoenixes wouldn't have hair, they'd have feathers. But you know what I'm trying to get at. The guy is a redhead and an actor. He has been in lots of films, including my own, Truffle Runners. And people call him many things, but I just call him Jordan Yaroslavsky.
Boom.
Yeah.
Jordan Yaroslavsky.
And he was the first guest ever to appear on
the first return guest as well.
The first return guest as well. And for a while he was the most frequent guest, or the guest with the most appearances. His mantle has been stolen by Montetre, but maybe he could be getting kind of an arms race with Montetre now.
I don't have a life, so.
And I'm gonna have you come back out soon because we're gonna redo. You finished your ADR, but we're gonna redo some stuff, and I'm gonna add some stuff. Random shit I've thought of, and I've been rewatching the footage.
Sure, great.
And the other guest is a man I've never met before in my life until 10 minutes ago, maybe, when Yaroslavsky rolled him up in his automobile. He is an actor as well.
He's like world famous, but it's like in Shai-Pei, so you just wouldn't know here.
Shai-Pei?
Shai-Pei.
Wait, is that a country or is that a country?
I think so. It's like a island or like a city or something in Taiwan.
Where I was born.
So
there you go. So you know.
We have the Leonardo DiCaprio of Shai-Pei, Mr. Evan Hayes.
Thank you.
I think it's a province in China.
Province.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
It's weird. Every time I go back, they wonder what happened to my accent.
What accent are they accustomed to?
I lost it. I can do a few accents. What do I feel comfortable actually bringing out right now?
Reckon you can.
I can do Russian. It is not bad. It sounds a little rusty right now, but the more I speak it, the more it sounds more authentic. You know what I mean?
Yaroslavsky is going to be pissed at you. He's of Russian heritage, and you're just indulging a stereotype.
I'm pissed because he's still on my gig, which is fucking doing impressions.
How about you just start having do you ever do just improv for the hell of it? You should just have
all the time. I sit in the corner and talk. I talk like this because
you're Sweden.
No, because I'm very, very special.
Dutch. I think that was Dutch.
Dutch is very similar to English, but if you mix the two, so you might have a little bit of Dutch and German Deutsch. I'm
really, really bad at accents.
Really bad at accents.
But you need to go make me some lingonberry pancakes, eh?
I love lingonberries.
I've never had lingonberries, I don't think.
They're very good.
I feel like
very good.
I'm gonna make them up. We should go find out what those are, because I have never had one.
I've heard they're like a sweet, but slightly better, like a Marianne
They're pretty
berry.
sour, but I like sour things. Yeah, I mean, usually when you have them as preserves, though, everything's sweetened up a bit.
Yeah.
I've had them on pancakes, but a straight lingonberry, you know what? It probably is really sour. I wouldn't know, but you're not even Swedish, man. What are we talking about? You're like, how do I know?
He's a Ruski by lineage.
Slav.
Slav.
Actually, no. None of my family's ever been from Russia.
Really? I thought. Oh, you're
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian.
Polish.
Right? Polish.
Ukrainian, yeah.
Polish Ukrainian.
What,
Slash
Jewish.
Jew.
Yeah, Polish, Ukrainian.
Slash American since you're here now.
But-
you gotta call yourself American
No.
if you were born here.
I mean, now if Russia were to ever become popular, then sure.
Wait, doesn't the Jewish part of your heritage pertain more to a cultural heritage, religious heritage, as opposed to a geographical?
To the Levant, to the actual, like, 50% of Eastern and Central European Jews have heritage related to Palestinians, kind of thing. So ethno-religion. So I don't know. I've never done a DNA.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Neither have I.
No,
I kind of
no.
wanted to. Heritage.com.
Yeah, because he apparently has some Jewish. His grandmother says he has some Jewish. So
Wait, you're talking about me? Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
That's
so, but
That's just what she says. I'm saying it's true that she has said that in her moments of senility. So I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
You're my Jewish grandson.
Well, she said it as an insult. My grandma, God bless her, she died at the age of 100 just last year.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. It really sucked. She did not go out the way I think people are entitled to, which is quietly.
Entitled to go out, man. I mean, the shit I say when I go out, I'm just telling you, I'm entitled to say that shit.
All right, don't scream or anything. I wouldn't want you to scream.
Well, if you go out saying that Jeff Crench has the best filmmaker I ever worked with, then I'll be more than satisfied.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. He's like the Eminem of country music. Trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, that exists. It's Colt Ford. He's a country rapper.
It's science.
But I'm sorry, your grandma. What did she say?
Oh, well, she wasn't.
It doesn't matter. She was senile.
Well, she claimed to have Alzheimer's, even though she's never been checked. She, assumed the worst all the time, and she loved to gossip. I won't get too deep into it because I love her, but she said, that Fuchses are Jewish, right?
Fuchses?
That's my mom's maiden name. I could have been named Evan Fuchs, which is Fuchs.
Most Jewish names aren't Jewish at all. They're like German or something.
This is a German name for sure.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of German, but I mean,
sometimes
the reason
they say the Yiddish names. But
so I wouldn't be surprised if I was part Jewish. I don't know. I mean, your hair.
You look kind of like
both of your hairs is a lot more curly than mine.
No, it don't matter. But you look kind of like H3, Ethan.
What did he just say about
YouTube?
me?
No, on YouTube.
E3H3?
Yeah, the YouTube channel.
I have not
Ethan and Ela, they're Jewish.
I look like him, or he does?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah. And
awesome.
he's you look kind of like him, but
He must be a handsome bastard, that guy. Or the girl.
Well,
Am I the girl or the guy?
You're the guy.
Thank you.
You're the guy, yeah.
One time, my friend Ben Eastman, who's not here tonight, and I went to a plaid pantry, and the clerk was jazzed out because apparently he thought I looked exactly like Seth Rogen. He's like, "Oh my god, my girlfriend's not going to believe this." He asked me to pose for a picture with him.
Wow.
And actually, no, it was a Snapchat video he asked me to pose for. I was like, "Hey, can you do me a little favor? It'll make my girlfriend so happy." I'm like, "Sure." Can you do the Seth Rogen laugh? And I don't know. I've never done it before. He's like, "Well, can you try?" And I was
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
He has a completely...
That's right.
That's the laugh I hear from him all the time in movies, but he's been interviewed a couple times that I've seen, and he brings out this laugh that he never does in movies, where it's like, I don't know. He just goes through the range, just goes down as he laughs. It's really annoying.
I to be fair to him about that,
I'm sure he's concerned.
making. I hope the people in Heaviside Go approve of my laughter, or else I might just jump off a bridge. But I think it would be really difficult to fake your your real laughter when you're acting. So there's probably acting laughter, I imagine, and then actual laughter. I'm not. You guys would know better than
I have no
Never heard of
problem with that.
You know?
I know what you mean exactly, but I don't have any
I
problem.
mean, you might be doing some stuff character-wise. You might go so deep and discover something, and it might manifest what you've discovered as something different than what you're used to laughing like. Just like your voice and
I have the
mannerisms.
motorboat laugh when I'm myself. Yeah. So
was that Woody Woodpecker?
Yeah.
God, you know what's weird? Sometimes when I hear someone laugh, I steal their laugh, but not intentionally. Like,
Sure, yeah.
I do that with accents.
It's
Catchy. Yeah.
like Alan Burrell does this thing when he's amused.
Mm.
Like I was there was an issue with some footage I was editing for Truffle Runners. I was trying to sync it up. Somehow the onboard mic didn't work on the camera, so I had to just do it by sight, like what they're doing on the screen, and hours of bullshit. But during this one clip, the audio would play through, and I'd hear this sound. I can't do it. I can't intentionally mimic his laugh, but when I start laughing, it'll happen. I'm like, what the fuck? I spent hours like, what the hell is that? So like did a cat get kicked across the street or something? Sorry, Alan. And I landed up, and eventually it lined up to where Alan laughed in the shot. Like, oh, so that's what that is.
Yeah.
But he's crew, right?
Alan's acting.
Okay.
Alan's the star of Truffle Runners. One of the stars.
My bad.
He's really funny.
Okay. As long as a crew member wasn't doing that, making annoying noises for you to have to edit out later.
Oh.
Just ruining your footage because it was taken in camera. No. That would suck.
No comment on that. But
Alan.
No, Alan's cool. When I was a kid, for some reason, it got into my head to start laughing like Tigger.
How does Tigger laugh? Okay, don't do that ever again.
But for a long time, I couldn't help it. I started doing it for fun, and it's like that situation where you hear people, don't make that face or it'll stick. Well, it should have, for me, it was like, don't laugh like that or it's going to stick with you. And for like a good year, like every time I would laugh when I was like 10 years old, like someone would say something, I thought, and it was the stupidest fucking thing ever.
Did you do it like in school?
Yes.
Oh no. That earned him a spot in the yearbook.
I don't think it was Chronicle. Well, until now, but
it was the first time he did it was senior year.
Oh God, senior year.
The last person to catch on to the Tigger laugh phase.
It's so stupid.
I think he started the phase.
Started
I've never heard of
the
that
movie.
before.
Wait, there was a fizz?
Yeah, you started it. You just told us about it.
Oh,
what an interesting phase.
Oh, my own
Your
fizz. I
phase.
thought you were talking about
That's
like
what I
a
said.
fad.
I said in the yearbook, but I didn't say which spot.
I gotcha. Yeah, you said that you miss film.
Oh God. Yes, I do miss film. It's probably mostly nostalgia by now because digital cameras really have caught up.
And you're talking about all film, like movie film and...
I'm not talking about tape. I'm not talking about the bad stuff, but, 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter. What was Dunkirk just shot on? 70 millimeter?
Well,
Hateful Eight was too.
Yeah, and that's the stuff they used to use for those prestige pics, of the late 50s, early 60s. I'm sure Spartacus was shot on it, It's like for legendary films. And, I mean, I agree. Hateful Eight, it's not my favorite Tarantino movie, but man, does it look so much different than everything else.
I love it.
Yeah, and the lens flares are different. I'm sure he used old lenses too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Film has something to it. It's kind of like vinyl. Not that I'm much of a music listener, but it has that as I've heard other people say, it's got that indefinable quality.
The richness
Texture,
of sound.
grain, film grain versus digital noise. It's actually really pleasing to look at. And 24 frames, like, people want to emulate the look of film with scratch filters, what have you. I've seen that done very badly.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
and then stuff that shot at a really high frame rate when The Hobbit came out just at 48 frames per second. Wasn't that hard to watch? I mean, I saw a couple minutes in 48 frames and I walked out because it didn't even look real to me.
It looks cheap. It looks like really badly shot British TV.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think British TV, don't they do... What do they shoot at? It might be a... No, I forget. They have a standard that's a little higher, and it's either shutter speed or frame rate. They might shoot at 30 frames.
But
I'll have to look that up again, but... Yeah, you know where I'm going with that? Like,
Yeah,
film's got the texture. And I just watched something. I'm convinced it was shot on film. I watched Detroit.
I just saw that too.
That had to have been shot on film.
I loved Detroit.
Me too. I don't think Jordan's seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh, close it, please.
But, I mean, that is a great, gritty look. And beautiful. I think it's well lit. It's just freaking... It's so real.
Yeah. That was one of the most intense films I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
It looks pretty intense.
It was.
Yeah.
We won't spoil the twist for you. Wasn't the gay orgy unexpected?
Yes.
Gay?
No.
Gay or
No, it wasn't. No, don't worry about it, man.
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
shit.
There's no sex
I
at
wanna
all,
see
man.
There's
Yeah.
no gay orgy.
Mm-mm.
I want to see.
But he has seen Dunkirk.
I haven't seen Dunkirk.
Oh,
It's a good one.
man, it's...
It's historically pretty. It's.
I would say it's historically accurate,
It's
but I
interesting
don't know.
how they took Harry Styles, who's never acted. Christopher Nolan claims he didn't even know who he was.
Oh.
He's a very famous, successful singer.
I didn't even know who he was until
Yeah.
Ben told me he's like a One Direction guy.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't even know what that is.
He's British.
He's British.
British boy band.
But when you
basically.
When you start watching the film, you'll see why it doesn't matter. Like, Dunkirk is almost... It's an ensemble piece.
He wanted unknown actors in it.
Well, except for Tom Hardy.
Well, you
Which-
gotta have your token.
But I'll make the argument that he was largely wasted, and without giving too much away, what can I say?
Wasted. They probably.
Well, it didn't require
He's probably
much acting,
expensive.
but it didn't require
It was
he
kind
was-
of like Patrick Stewart in Green Room. Wasn't there much?
no, but he had a
He did a good
important
job.
role that needed to be acted well.
Yeah.
What you see of Tom Hardy in Dunkirk, him in that World War II plane, that's just kind of what he does the whole movie, is use his machine gun. And he'll say some things over the radio, but it's not like super emotional. You could have put anyone there, honestly.
So it's kind of like a less emotional version of Cuba Gooding Jr. in Pearl Harbor.
It was better.
I've tried to forget that movie.
Yeah.
Really
Well, I'm not
tried.
saying, I'm not comparing the movies. I'm comparing the
it-
parts. I thought Cuba was good in that movie.
Well, okay, the individual part, but that's Cuba Gooding Jr. Of course.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He is a good actor.
Now,
Yeah. And so is Tom
who,
Hardy.
Look who was contending with Ben Affleck, and people that aren't known for being the most artistically influenced actors.
I don't think
You know,
a lot of people have an aversion to Affleck, and I used to, but I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for.
that's the technical aspect of acting. Remember, we were talking about earlier, was that people think they can step on a set and act because they're good creatively. They're great creatively. They can't, because they either need to have grown up around it or have taken classes, because there's a technical aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
Knowing where the camera is, knowing where you need to be.
yeah,
Well, but
yeah.
I'm ready to tackle that, but I just wanted to say really quickly about Tom Hardy in this plane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want to give it away. I mean, I won't give too much away by saying he's pretty much in the plane the whole time. So it's
Well,
The head.
It's freaking Dunkirk.
and it's
If you don't know what happens at Dunkirk, then
so there's some things he says on the radio, and it's important because something happens later on that I won't I will not spoil here. Something. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm just not even going to touch that. But I think you could put any pilot, let's say pilot, behind there, and has a basic working knowledge of, the British military back then, would have done probably just as well. Yeah, it's a strange movie, and same with Harry Styles. It really doesn't matter because most of what he's doing is moving and running, and the camera's, it's what do you call it? Not Steadicam. I'm sorry. When you're just running with somebody, what's that called?
Oh, jeez, I'm looking.
It's like it's the simplest term. It's just.
I don't know.
Well, whatever. So his role is defined by him running places and not much talking. There's not a lot of like huge actor moments. I'd say they mostly go to like Kenneth Branagh. His role, for him to be showing what he shows on his face, it's really important. That helps tell the story. Whereas everyone else is sort of running. Tom Hardy's flying. The guy in the boat, played by Mark Rylance, who I love, he's in the movie, and I think he does a good job. But there's more. There's more for him to sort of bite into.
My understanding is of the film. It was a criticism some people had. Though it reminded me of a similar criticism people had about Fury Road, the Mad Max film.
Yes.
That some people, though I didn't think it was true for Fury Road, but people said, I think, the same thing about Fury Road and Dunkirk, that they don't really do that much character development.
Very true.
Because in Dunkirk, so it's true in Dunkirk, because they just focus on the recreation of the battle and just putting you into the battle. So it's
because for that very reason, they are fictional characters. There's no record of these three people existing. So
it's kind of like the Titanic, where fictional people in a real.
You're going there again. You're going to the love
great.
Story.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the love story. I'm talking about the principle of putting fictional people in a historical situation.
Yeah, but see, they completely went into making these people more real than the Titanic itself in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Nolan is smarter than that. Nolan,
Hey man, I love the Titanic.
Me too. I don't know why people give that a bad rap.
Because, well, you can redo the same mustard sandwich over and over again, and eventually it's...
What the fuck are you talking about?
Titanic was a technological marvel.
No, you're correct.
And he did it again in 2009.
I disagree there. I did not like Avatar.
But it's still a technological marvel.
Yeah, but
that's the only point I made, is that
any movie ever.
Force Awakens beat it.
Oh yeah, that's true. but Avatar was an anomaly because of just the time it was released and the fact that the first application of CGI in that use, a fully submerged CGI in Avatar. But it was more of an anomaly. Got some luck involved there, where Force Awakens was expected to, do well.
It wasn't going to make any less than $1 billion. It's Star Wars,
What did you think do you think this next one? Well, I think it'll do pretty well. It's the last one with Carrie Fisher.
I wanted to do twice as well because I was disappointed by The Force Awakens.
Well,
oh, really?
I'm
really?
I'm more of a Rogue One fan than a Force Awakens.
Oh wow, I liked them both, but I had maybe nitpicks with Force Awakens myself.
Let's get into it, man. This is a topic I've been wanting to debate for a year or two.
I could never watch The Force Awakens and have a nightmare about Kylo Ren, but I can watch. Yeah, exactly. But Rogue One, I've already had nightmares about Darth Vader at the ending scene.
Oh,
that was. So
I will
cool.
say this for that movie. That was my favorite scene. When he's just going fucking ham with his lightsaber.
Everybody loved that scene.
That was amazing.
Gorgeous. You know what? That was a caveat. That was added.
That was a reshoot.
That was added after everything was shot. It wasn't even in the script.
Wow.
That's called open-mindedness. That's called.
But guess what? He had another
believing.
entrance, another grand entrance, even before that. When
Yeah,
his
yeah, it
Star
was still
Destroyer.
terrifying.
No, when it came out of hyperdrive, right as another ship was going into hyperdrive and crashed right into his Star Destroyer. Remember that? That was freaking awesome too.
I liked the movie for the most part, but there were two things about the movie that annoyed the living shit out of me.
Yes.
Peter Cushing, the CGI face of Peter Cushing.
Okay.
Oh my.
That
And
looked fucking
the
awful.
CGI body, the everything. I mean, I hope there was like mocap or something.
I was
There.
too stoned. You know?
Okay. The worst.
That was a joke. But it was true, but it's funny.
We saw it together. He liked it.
Yeah.
No, maybe you were too stoned at the time. Well, you said looks like a real person there,
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
but it doesn't for me. I would just pretended to agree because I knew you were off somewhere. And was like, yeah, my God, the things they can do today.
oh, George. God, they could do that like 15 years ago when the PlayStation 1s were a thing. But maybe not that bad, but maybe it looks like a PS3 graphic to me.
It's got like a little bit of puppetry to it.
I'm also
like
colorblind.
The
to be
lower
fair.
jaw.
It makes a difference.
That might.
I looked at Peter Cushing. I thought he looked older in Rogue One than I'd ever seen him, and then I went back. Nope,
and
he
watched.
looked that old.
Yeah.
Well,
But still, the movements were strange to do facial expressions.
But it's still
Try that.
really cool technology. It's admirable.
They had to. I mean, I think they had to do it if they're going to tell that story.
I don't think they did because there was another actor in the movie, a real actor,
Oh, Ben Mendelsohn.
that looked almost exactly like Peter Cushing, and I'm
Hmm.
like not exactly, but close. And I'm watching this guy like, wait, why isn't this guy playing the Cushing part?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I forget that actor, but you
Part
know
of
what I'm
that.
talking about.
Yeah.
Is it Mendelsohn, the other guy, the other sort of evil guy? You see him in the beginning of the movie go down
think
to the
so.
planet to try and recruit her
Krennic?
father, Jen Erso's father.
I haven't seen it in like over a year, so I'm kind of blanking on the
Neither
name.
have I,
so.
but was it Krennic?
Krennic. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Mendelsohn. Yeah, his name was Krennic in the movie.
Yes.
Well, whoever it
That's the
was, there was a guy that looked almost exactly like Cushing. They should have cast him
And
as
then
the
Cushing
Cushing.
took his credit for building the Death Star, which he took credit from Galud.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
I think the Cushing lookalike should have played the Cushing character, and someone else should have played the other character that the Cushing lookalike played.
This essentially is like, it kind of have two conversations, but this essentially, it was like corporate warfare side of the empire we saw going on. This is shit I've seen in the HR department. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like kicking this guy out and taking his work. And, it was kind of corporate warfare. So I don't know what it was, but there's something more adultish about it. It felt more war-like.
I think there's a lot to enjoy in Rogue One.
Yeah.
There's a lot not to enjoy when you sort of watch it and rewatch it and sort of try and analyze it through a character development standpoint.
Yeah.
And I've heard that Jyn Erso is not a compelling character, and I watched a YouTube video as to why, and they compared her directly
Yeah,
to.
she's fine, man.
True. And they compared her directly with Rey in Force Awakens. And
Two
They're-
women.
to give one example,
they're
yes.
nothing like.
Right, and to give one example as to why, video made this, pretty clear, and makes me respect Force Awakens a little bit more. Just take, for example, the scene where Jyn Erso is sitting down by a table, and they're reading her, like, all the crimes that she committed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a list. It really is. You are not being shown any of this. She is being told that she is a rebel, basically, by rebels.
Did that even make the cut to the movie? Because remember, so much didn't make the cut out of the trailer.
Yes.
That was weird. I mean, I understand here and there a scene not making the final cut that they show in the trailer, but it was like half of the trailer.
I think that may have been an intentional fake out in the trailer.
Maybe.
So
it was weird.
But in response to that, she goes, "I'm a rebel. I rebel."
Yeah.
But I want to be shown. Show, not tell, right? That's the rule of thumb. And we see...
Jyn Erso?
Yes.
Well, we see her rebel like for the rest of the movie. Like it starts out by giving us the reputation she has, and then it follows through with her living up to the reputation that we've been introduced to. It's like the beginning of Dirty Harry. It's like, "You're a goddamn loose cannon, Harry Callahan." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he spends the rest of the movie violating criminal civil rights or something.
But you'd get that teaser scene though, like before the movie began in proper, just for most people, right, to establish their character. Oh, he's a badass. He's gonna do something really badass, like John Wick. Before the movie starts in proper, John Wick 2. All the shit that he does with cars and guns, and oh my god, that's why nobody crosses John Wick.
Yeah.
But
I love it when they introduce people like that in movies.
Yeah, I think that's what Jyn Erso needed. But the video, and I'll find it later and we can watch it. It's really good stuff. I have to promote this channel. It's called Lessons from the Screenplay. Amazing. You guys ever want to, I think you're going to start writing, and I know you have, and I want to write something eventually. This is a great place to take.
I've actually got a number of YouTube channels that are great for writing and production value. A number of them I've ran into.
Here's another, because my God, these videos are so immaculately made, and this was just one example. And with Rey, they actually go through the scenes in the beginning that establishes her better. And we're shown, how she's going into the skeleton of a Star Destroyer to not steal, but scavenge, and then try and sell her parts. Like, we really get a feel for how desolate her existence is, and how she's really just hanging on. She looks too good to be hanging on, but she is living in the fringes, doesn't have that much of a tan, whatever. But I'll show you this video later. And I agree that Rey is a better established character, but I still like Rogue One more because it's not a frickin' remake. All the story beats, almost all of them, have been done in Episode 4.
J.J. Abrams ruined the potential that Episode 7 had.
Are you nervous or excited about Episode 8?
I'm very excited. I like the director.
I love Star Wars. I grew up watching it. Even though, obviously they came out before I was born, but I still grew up watching them for some reason. Waiting for the sequels, the prequel, Wow.
The director's guy who's, Ryan Johnson, is going to do the next movie.
Yeah, they got rid of,
But he did Looper.
I like Looper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. And The Brothers Bloom, he did that too.
I haven't seen that one.
It's not bad. It's a good role for, let's see, who's in it? Mark Ruffalo, and might be blanking on the main character. It's just what I do. Well, that's because it's not as good as Looper.
There you go.
But he has shown his mastery a few times over to me, and I remember JJ saying when he saw Ryan Johnson's script, he said, "Oh my God, why did I agree to not direct the last two? Why did I hand that over? This is so great. I should have had him write it because I am missing out on a huge opportunity. This script blew me away."
Wow.
Paraphrasing. He probably said it a little better, but come on. I love to hear that from anyone. If they can get that excited. JJ, who's been doing this since he was...
To some extent...
Since the 90s.
It doesn't matter who's directing because there's so many important questions everybody's waiting on. Who is Rey? How is she related to this? What is Luke's deal? Why is he, isolated? Some of them we know a little bit about. Who is Snoke? There's all these theories.
Snoke. I don't care.
We don't know though.
Was he the CGI guy in the giant?
He was the 50-foot tall, missing part of his brain. It looked like
he was deformed.
The guy in the giant chair.
Yeah.
And he was only a projection.
He was your emperor.
I did not like that.
No,
well,
and that's a bad name, by the way.
Snoke.
Snoke is what I would name a cute cat.
Not as bad as Count.
Snoke.
Count Dooku.
And you could Eskimo kiss. What?
George Lucas is weird.
He is.
Count Dooku.
Dooku. They could have called.
The Witch Doctor.
They could have called him Snook.
Snook.
Emperor Snook.
They should have called him Snickers.
Whiskers.
It sounds very similar to those things. That's bad. And
I know.
when I think of Kylo Ren, I don't really say it like that. I say
You
Kylo
realize-
Ren. See, Loren. It's like not what.
There was a sorry.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of red tape as far as the expanded universe of Star Wars. You realize that 90% of Star Wars is in the form of books that never make it to the screen.
That's not canon anymore, unfortunately.
Not all of it. Some of it is. That's the thing. That's why I said red tape. So.
How did it? Wait, what? Some of it's canon and some of it's
Yeah,
not.
for
How's
instance,
that? Figure it out.
For instance, well, it was what they felt or J.J. Abrams felt fit the story or didn't. For instance, the truth about the answer to the fate of Leia and Han,
Mhm.
for instance, was that initially, according to these books, I can't remember the name of it was like a trilogy at least. They had a daughter named Jane Solo and a son named Jason or something.
You know, I've seen the family tree. It was way back when I was in college. I haven't read the expanded universe, but that's what they called these series of books that continues the family line. And some people, I think on the Solo side, at least one becomes a Sith Lord. So they're keeping true to that, but his name wasn't Kylo.
Yeah, no, and there's no sister, and
Wasn't his name
and they broke
Ben
up.
before it was Kylo Ren? Because Kylo Ren's like his evil
Right.
Sith name, and like
Yeah,
before
Ben.
he's been Solo.
Good point.
Basically, whatever they had to get rid of and say this is no longer canon, they just did it. Yeah. And whatever. So a lot of these characters started in the expanded universe. Snoke, Sidious, things like that.
Sidious?
Who became the Emperor. Yeah.
I always
That was in
assumed
the expanded universe?
Yeah. Oh, here, Darth Maul. for
Darth
instance.
Maul.
Even
I love that character.
General Grievous. That's why in episode 3, General Grievous was.
I never actually saw that. Are you? One sec. Are you leaving? I guess she is. Sorry.
Do we have to back up?
No.
No, I don't think so. Hang on, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, you want.
Oh, it's fine. Are you leaving?
Yes,
Where you going?
get Samantha.
Oh, okay.
She's back then.
Do you want to switch with them, or
What?
do you want them to back out, or?
Well, it's not necessary right this minute.
All right, cool. Sorry.
I
about
could
that.
talk Star Wars all freaking night.
Yeah, but you didn't know that, right? A lot of people don't know that because nobody read, except for kids, the expanded universe stuff.
My introduction to
I was-
General Grievous. Did you ever watch the Jenny Tartakovsky cartoon series? It was also called Clone Wars before
Yeah,
the
that's
Clone
part
Wars
of the
everyone
expanded
knows.
universe. Yeah.
I know of that like CG Clone Wars.
Right. There was more of a cartoon though before that. It was sort of a mini series.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
It's amazing. It's by the same person who created, did you grow up in the 90s? Like, did you watch
Yeah.
Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, absolutely.
Same,
Get out of my laboratory.
same person.
I still
Did
haven't
this.
grown up.
Me too.
I see people ask me what decade you grew up in.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't decided which one
Whichever one's coolest should
Yeah.
always be your answer. But you need to
Mosquitoes.
watch this. My God, is it incredible. That's where I was introduced to General Grievous. And by the way, he wasn't coughing and, having a hard time fighting off
Yeah.
Jedi. He was such
He was a Jedi.
he was a badass.
Well, supposedly in the expanded universe, there's an explanation for all of this. And not supposedly, there actually is.
No, there is, even in the show.
The Emperor, because remember, he was actually working for the Emperor as a duality, because the Emperor was also Sidious. I should say Senator Palpatine was also Sidious, Darth Sidious.
I'm confused because I knew that the books existed, but I always assumed they were like an authorized fan fiction,
They're all
but not
authorized.
necessarily directly connected to the official series.
That they were absolutely... George Lucas had to sign off on everything.
Wow.
Well, wait, it wasn't people that took his notes and decided to create these stories? It started out as fan fiction?
Remember what I told you guys earlier about corporate warfare?
Yeah.
Well, there's a perfect example. So, basically, once Disney bought out, that's when they took the authority to say, you know what, we don't like what George approved of here, but we can keep this or that. But that's why you still have the name Snoke, for instance.
Yeah, well, George Lucas had a script written for Episode 7, and JJ threw most of that out the window.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you sell your company to Disney, though. And I still think it's going to come around. I was just not a big fan of Force Awakens. The story beats, they're so similar. Like, okay, we know that Rey's going to be the next Luke Skywalker. That's fine. You can be the chosen one, and but she's still... Jakku could have been anything. Why is it another desert planet? I'll just start there.
And
like,
why can't they
don't hit us over the head with the similarities?
How are they so many different planets? I don't. Why can't it? I don't know. Why can't it be Tatooine again? You know what I mean?
That would explain why it looks like Tatooine.
I know. I mean, at the very least.
They took away some unique things. You know how everything is called the Resistance? If you're resisting against a bigger power that's perceived as evil, you and a band of ragtag whoever's...
Rebels.
Like the La Resistance in France during World War II.
There you go. Yeah. That's great. But, my God, that term has become synonymous with, I don't know, dumbing down and generalizing. And Star Wars had their own thing. It was called the Rebellion. And not many people were saying the Rebellion. The Rebellion. We know what those are. Full of rebels.
Going back to Rogue One, though, I love the fact that it shows, like, Saw Gerrera, who's another character from Expanded Universe, as a terrorist. This guy was not a great guy. This guy killed innocent people in the name of Allah. I mean, not Allah. In the name of...
Are there Islamic terrorists in Star Wars?
He basically was the equivalent of a terrorist who killed innocent people along with stormtroopers.
Wow. But they were rebels, and there was no reason to change the name, is kind of what I'm saying.
He partly raised Jyn Erso. So that shows you your... So this is a very deep, dark movie compared to... If you understand the background of everything and all the stories compared to, the trilogy movies.
I think Empire Strikes Back was pretty dark.
It's true, but...
All the Cloud City stuff, some of it is the stuff of nightmares.
It's really dark, yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get a Blu-ray release of the original trilogy without the Lucas alterations?
No, we won't. I just watched a documentary about that called The People versus George Lucas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's been a lot of outcry for that. And I think the furthest they went was to say, the originals will not be restored in any way, but you can find them in the extras. I think that's the concession they made, but Lucas himself said this is not my vision anymore.
I've always believed that maybe I want to sound haughty and self-righteous, but I've always believed like once you've released a film to the public, that's it. Unless like you can have like a director's cut if you disagree with the studio or something, but pretty much once you've released it, don't come back years later to fuck with it because it's just gonna hurt you.
The scene with Jabba that was added to the special edition episode 4 before Han.
There's a lot of
Well, I mean, obviously to do that, it was shot back in 1977.
They reshot some of it.
But the guy playing Jabba was just a guy. They didn't have a huge snot worm creature playing Jabba. So to have Han walk around the guy, Jabba's got this huge fat tail behind him. So they had to take Han and elevate him in post and then down so he could walk over the
A
tail.
little heavy on the CG.
Yes.
Wow.
And I could have sworn when I saw, how they, and this is a huge bone of contention amongst a lot of people, why would Lucas ever want to change the Greedo scene to show that he shot? Yeah. Well, when watching that, also in the documentary, to see that, I could have sworn because he never shot, that we saw in the original film.
Han shot first.
Yeah, but I think they moved Han's head digitally, artificially, to show him dodging a laser blast that, by the way, is still going to miss by 2 feet.
Moves at like the speed of light. So how
God, it's so
did he dodge
stupid.
it?
It's really dumb. But I'm not that fervent. Like, I don't care if Greedo still got a shot off, or even if he shot first. But some people say, no, Han has to shoot first because that's his character. You don't take that away. You don't make him a defensive player. You make him the badass that finishes.
That's why
George
Lucas is no Steven Spielberg. He was a great businessman. He made him a billionaire. The decision he made with, I think, Universal, the studio, to give him the green light on Star Wars when he said, I'm going to take a huge pay cut because they were going to offer him $400,000, and he said, I only want 150, but after this is done, I want the rights to all the merch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty brilliant.
Pretty bold too, yeah.
But
no one would get a deal like that today. A great director.
No. I think
scriptwriter,
he used to be pretty good, but going back and doing touch-ups years after the fact, when you give the world something and then you take it away and fuck with it, and like,
yeah, he did the same thing with his first big feature. No, maybe American Graffiti was first. I thought maybe THX 1138 was that his first.
I don't know. Maybe.
I just wanted to be right. But anyway, he added a whole bunch of effects to that. And that was the first time I saw it. It was actually just a couple of years ago. And yeah, I know that there was a futuristic world outside that he had to add all this CGI to. And the movie's so un-CGI.
The only thing that was successful with George Lucas is anything that had Harrison Ford, because he's so pragmatic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real guy. Harrison Ford wasn't even planning on being an actor. You know what I mean? Apparently, I don't know who knows the real story, but the official story is he was on the set or carrying some shit, and the guy said that Lucas or somebody, one of the directors or the casting directors said, why don't you try for this role, and I don't know if that's all true, but point being is this is a very, very down-to-earth guy that's got his defenses up, which is a stark contrast to, and clever and witty. Like, he is the Spartan, he's got he is a stark contrast to every single other character in Star Wars, at least male characters. Yeah.
Agreed.
And that's why Indiana Jones was successful. So anything that had Harrison Ford, huge success. The prequels, not a huge success. In fact, a big waste of money. I don't know if they ever got it back, but they spent so much on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Phantom Menace probably made its money. There was that excitement again for Star Wars.
I'm not sure.
Back in '99, no one knew it was going to be, what it was. Yeah. No one knew that Jar Jar was just going to take it over and be awful and say things that were racist.
Misa Jar Jar Binks!
I'd be careful about saying they're
really
racist,
good.
but
Thanks.
they're not real intriguing.
By the way, I loved it back when I was 11 watching it.
Sure.
It was amazing.
Because it's not racist when you see it like that,
I didn't.
You have to see it from a certain point of view.
It had a lot of really good adventure. Phantom Menace. What do you guys think? Like, for instance, I loved the whole sequence with the planet core, going in there and seeing fish the size of Godzilla.
I had a hard-on ready for Star Wars, so it didn't matter what you put in front. I wanted to see the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
So You know, I mean,
Wasn't Jake Lloyd amazing?
who?
Jake Lloyd, little
Oh,
Anakin.
the little guy that.
Oh, yeah, he was probably the best.
It was between him.
Yeah,
and
the
him
dog
and-
stopped me. He knew I was lying.
It was between him. It was between him and one other actor, kid.
Rusty, knock it off.
I remember, but the Jake Lloyd really went overboard, right?
He was not good, but I felt bad for him.
Well,
I feel
yeah,
bad for him now because that kid got so much shit
got
over the
bullied
years.
and ended up having a lot of trauma. I don't know, mental issues. I don't know. It was all related to film.
I don't think it was. I think he turned out. It turned out later in life that he became a paranoid
Manic
schizophrenic.
depressive or schizoaffect.
Wow, is that what all the midichlorians do to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
They go to your head.
It's like he was arrested a couple years ago
Yeah.
for like
Drug
driving
addiction,
a car
drug-
way too fast,
drug
crashing it.
addiction.
And then I think he's in a mental hospital now, which is really sad.
I didn't know.
He's like 20 now, I think.
Oh no, he's a couple years older than I am. He was also in one of my favorite Christmas movies,
He's in his mid 20s.
What?
Jingle All the Way.
Really?
It's not great, but
No, I mean,
Something-
really, he was in it? I didn't know.
oh yeah, he was.
Okay.
But I love it. He plays Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid.
I didn't know
You're my number one customer. Have you seen that movie?
that. What a setup for failure.
What?
Hey.
You don't like the Arnold?
Yeah, well, as an actual an actor, like this is you're setting an example of this is how you're supposed to act.
Oh,
It's even worse than Tom Cruise.
uh,
Never change
No,
your accent.
Tom
by
Cruise
the way.
used to be really good.
No,
I
I'm not
thought.
saying he's a bad actor. That's why I said this is even worse than Tom Cruise. Because
Mhm.
at least Tom Cruise does have some chops. He's just very limited
well,
as far as like
I think
doing an accent.
If he goes, oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would ever argue that Schwarzenegger is like a thespian or someone who's going to win an Oscar, but god damn it, he's fun. He has charisma. to
Yeah,
spare.
you could
he
call him
was-
The Rock before The Rock. I would.
Oh god, he's better than The Rock, I think.
Yes, I will agree with that.
As an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a screen presence that
As a
I would
screen- yeah.
actually pay to see.
Actually, he said it better than I did.
Screen presence.
Oh.
Although I loved The Rock. Have you seen Pain and Gain?
Pain and Gain, no. I try to avoid Michael Bay.
Oh, give Pain and Gain. I don't like Michael Bay either for the most part. Give Pain and Gain a chance and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Because it's
All right.
fucking ridiculous and it's hilarious.
Is it like about watching all of other Michael Bay's movies?
it's
Pain and
it's
Gain?
you could tell it's a Michael Bay movie, but there's something about it. It's
No,
A
it's
little bit
movie
darker.
showcasing you watching movies.
what's your question? I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
I know. It's a movie showcasing you watching. It didn't matter.
I think what he's saying, I hope this is what you're saying, a movie about you watching Pain and Gain might be more entertaining. Is that what you're trying
I'm
to say?
saying that Pain and Gain sounds like
I'm going to watch it.
you
though.
just watched a lot of Michael Bay's movies and paid a lot of money. He gained it.
Boom.
Oh, okay.
that was
I
a
got
little
you.
pun.
Bada bing.
I got you
That was,
now.
that was good. I like some of his things, though. I don't think The Island is irredeemable. I like The Island, and
Never
I
saw
really
that one.
like The Rock. You know, the Nicolas Cage movie from 96 or 97. The Alcatraz one with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one either.
It's a good debut.
It also
Even
had
Roland
Cage,
Emmerich had a
Nicolas
good
Cage.
debut, and then Independence Day Resurgence came along, and
Were you
Ruined
a
everything.
fan?
Independence Day, the first one, is like my
Yeah,
favorite movie.
I didn't see Resurgence, but I did like the first one. But I was a kid, so I mean,
It's still good. It has a great build up. I don't think people give the movie its due because they always point to, how would a computer virus work on an alien computer? But
that
there's
voice is perfect.
there's more. Try the beginning. I think the movie has a lot of ground to cover. It's so many characters. There's so much going on. I love the build-up all the way down to, the checkmate. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
That's what who's the character?
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, we'll just call him Jeff Goldblum because we can't remember his actual character name.
Oh, the character.
Checkmate, the countdown when he discovers that there's David. Yes, he discovers a code in the satellites, and it looks like a countdown, but a countdown to what, we don't know. But he says checkmate right after it goes to 0. He's in the plane, Air Force One, about to take off, and then these city destroyer lasers come down, and exactly. Oh, I love it. The build up to that is incredible for me. I think that's very realistic about how the world would react to ships that huge just hovering over cities.
That's what I don't like about it now as an adult.
Is
because I'm pretty sure that Independence Day was gearing us up towards not accepting our extraterrestrial friends.
Yes, it does speak bad on them, doesn't
it?
Yeah. Every single extraterrestrial movie that's ever come out, well, not everyone, but
makes
almost
us fear them and have a war with them.
Except for Starman, that was a pretty
and
good.
E.T.
I love Starman.
Me too.
What about Arrival? Came out last year.
I liked that pretty well.
Did it come out last year?
Yeah, but the movies that portray them nice are really boring.
No, Starman? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I'm just saying, the ones where the aliens try to blow us up are awesome.
God damn it, Jordan.
Don't watch Resurgence if you want to hold on to that. I think that it's a good thing and that it makes for a compelling movie because the sequel... You've seen the sequel?
Resurgence?
Yes.
No, I've never seen Resurgence.
Oh, if I have to watch Pain and Gain, I mean, I'm going to watch it because you said it was bad in a good way, right?
Not even. I think it's fun. I think it's...
You said it's ridiculous.
Watching.
That was your word.
No, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
That can be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Resurgence is ridiculous in all the worst ways. I'll give you one example. Remember the scientist with long hair played by Brent Spiner?
Oh, the one that's shoved against the glass with all the slime?
Yeah, the one who the alien was talking through.
Him, like hidden away.
Yeah, he apparently for just 20 years or so he was just in a coma. The alien didn't kill him.
Oh yeah, I heard
alien
about
didn't kill him.
That was so awful of a move. I didn't watch the movie, but I heard about it. It was that bad.
Will Smith, who was in Men in Black 2 and Men in Black 3, just looked at this piece of shit like, nah, man, I'm
not
good.
Going to do it.
I can't believe he was in a coma. Why was it so important to bring him back?
Because he was. I mean, he's alive.
Everyone was Brent Spiner, I guess.
Oh, you're talking about Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
It's important to have Will Smith in an Independence Day movie. Brent Spiner,
yeah.
You're right.
There's only three necessary things in an Independence Day film: Smith, Goldblum, and Bill Pullman.
And Spiner.
Yes, apparently.
We need Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
I would love Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid
he's gone.
He wouldn't even have to act.
He's become his character.
Yeah.
He's really gone off the deep end from what I hear.
No, he's beyond that. He's.
It's actually really sad.
He put I think he posted a video online. I forget exactly what it was. He posted a video online. I think he put either a paper sack or maybe it was a Barack Obama mask. For some reason, I don't remember exactly what it was over his wife's face, and he fucked her for the camera.
Get out of here!
Wow.
And he uploaded it. It's like, yeah, this is what America's done to us. Yeah, goddamn star whackers. He believes.
But do you think he was really effing her?
I don't know.
Well,
but he believes though.
Oh yeah,
he believes that there's a contingent of hitmen who are going after Hollywood stars and murdering them.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Apparently Heath Ledger was a victim. Pretty much every famous
He's
Hollywood person who has died
of some sort.
I don't know if it's schizophrenia or if it's something that I can't. I don't because for most of his he's always been kind of a strange vibe, but he's never until the last 10 years been completely fucking batshit insane.
Yeah.
So but he thinks there's a contingent of starwhackers. He calls them starwhackers.
Starwhackers.
That have been going around murdering.
Yeah. And pretty much most anybody famous who died early.
It has been a victim.
Yeah.
And he ran to Canada because he said the Starwackers were only stayed in the United States, and they were coming after him next. So he went to Canada and
Started squatting in his own home, or that he lost.
his evasion from the Starwackers coincided with him being chased by authorities for something. Like, what was his trouble with the law here?
He has actual legal issues because he broke into a home because he used to own it, and to live there, he's homeless, I guess. I don't know.
That would have been a perfect story if this guy had lived, right? His character in Independence Day. That's what he would have gone off and done, and then he would have come back just twice as crazy. I want to see. I don't even care. The movie's so bad. If it was just filming Randy Quaid on set, just come.
Oh yeah,
that would have been incredible.
Let's Randy
get that
Quaid
on film.
back.
It's almost as preposterous. He was blown to smithereens, and we know Dr. Oaken died also. So they're both dead.
Well, there's a couple. I don't know. There's a couple of things. One, I don't know if you've directed a film or anything like that before, but would you want to? I'm sure you've been on sets of films, or
yeah.
Would you want to be responsible for directing Randy Quaid as he is now? Would you want to deal with that?
I'd have to sit down with him. It's impossible to answer now. You guys have said a lot about him, but I'd still have. I mean, your video. If that's out there, if you're not just lying to us,
no,
then I won't even meet with him.
Okay,
with that sex tape, that's just ridiculous.
Cousin Eddie era Randy Quaid.
Yeah, he was
absolutely
last showed in Vegas Vacation. That was his last
Eddie
National Lampoons.
That was his last one?
Well,
yeah. Last National Lampoons.
I got you.
It's the last vacation movie for sure, and I love it. That's the first one I saw. And never forget your first.
He's great in it.
There was a sequel. There was a sequel to Christmas Vacation. It was
I heard about that.
Wait for that.
Christmas Vacation 2: Eddie's Adventure.
Without Chevy.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think it's all Eddie.
Cousin Eddie would not work as a lead character. You need Chevy. Clark Griswold. Well, he's not normal either. He's normal enough to be believable, and Eddie isn't. But you need Clark and the other Griswolds to ground the story, so it's not just too fucking off the rails.
That's why. I mean, you said it. Ground the story. I've been wondering why so many main characters, especially in some of the books I've read, they're like backboards. Harry Potter's a great example. He's actually not interesting at all in the books, but you see the world through his eyes, and you don't want that person to be really interesting, off the wall, crazy. That's for a side character.
So it's basically an audience surrogate, you're saying?
Yeah. Agreed. So I think your main character, a lot of times, to be a backboard, which I used to hate, I see the purpose of it. Because you can't, for instance, to tell a Batman story and just have the Joker's point of view would be a very strange experience. And I don't think it would work either.
You know what another movie that kind of has that set up with the characters? The Big Lebowski. The dude is kind of zen and easy, but all in all, he's the most normal of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You got the dude.
And the friends, maybe.
Any
of the characters.
Any of the characters.
Take John Goodman's character.
Walter Sobchak.
Oh, I love that guy.
Show more fucking Shabbos. The Jesus, who is I didn't care for that character.
It
wasn't
a
yeah.
By the way, he's going to do a spinoff with that character. I heard.
Thank God I heard that rumor too, but I've heard that it wasn't true.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were done with.
Well, it wouldn't be a Coen thing. I think Turturro asked them.
Well, the Coens are doing Scarface.
Really?
Yeah. It's the second remake of it.
Yeah, because one was in the 50s, right?
The original was Italian immigrant. Then, of course,
Cuban.
Stone
So one was the third.
What?
Oliver Stone.
Oh,
and
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone wrote it.
And Coppola was the
No. Brian De Palma was the director.
De Palma, Brian De Palma. With the Cuban immigrant.
The original was, I think the original was, it was in the 30s.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was Howard, I think it was directed by Howard Hawks. And Howard Hughes, the airplane Howard Hughes, was the producer of it. And then,
Oh, how do you like that?
Then Stone and De Palma made this one. And then now the Coen brothers are making...
Yeah, with Luna.
Diego Luna?
Yeah, is the only known casting so far. He's going to play the main.
That would work, I think.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's
If
he's
going to be Cuban
place
again.
in L.A., not Cuban.
He's
He's not a Cuban immigrant?
No, remember, these are remakes, but they're not, in a sense they're not. They just follow the formula of an immigrant who becomes a crime lord who dies at the end.
The first one was based directly on... Actually,
They don't necessarily have to die. Maybe one die.
I read in...
That'd be a good... I think you'd have to do that if you were to remake Scarface. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no.
If you're going to do it differently and have people react positively, one
I can see the
guaranteed way to
Coen
do
brothers
it...
trying to do it differently.
A guaranteed way, though, and because we're so sequel happy, is to see that character live. But they don't really do sequels. That's the thing.
No. Everything.
I read interesting tidbit about the original 30s Scarface. That when Al Capone heard that this movie was being made, an Italian guy with a scar on his face, he was kind of nervous, so he sent goons to the hotel room of one of the producers or the director or something, and they're like, "Hey, this better not be about Al." And I forget exactly what was how he talked himself out of it, but somehow he convinced the goons that either it wasn't about Al or it would be it was based on him, but it wasn't him. It was a fictionalization, and the goons like, "Oh, that's good enough for us," because they understand nuance so well.
You brought up a really interesting point about the mafia film, and Howard Hughes versus the mafia, for that matter. But this is back when the mafia was pretty weak compared to their strongest. So that's the most they could do. The Godfather.
The 30s?
Yeah.
They were weak in the 30s?
They were weak compared to the 60s and the 70s.
Really?
50s, yeah.
Wow.
The Godfather, I'll tell you why in a minute. Because of unions and the Teamsters Union and the Italian American League. So they had mobs of people protesting when Godfather was trying to film in New York. This was huge, and they were trying to... Mario Puzo, who was dead broke, and invested everything in this. His first film flopped, and he was facing the Italian American League, which was a bunch of non-mob affiliated people controlled by mob affiliated people. It was controlled by the mob. It put out a lie that the mafia doesn't exist, never did, but that these Italian Americans are being discriminated against. And I happen to know because my grandfather changed his name from Liberatore to Liberator on the step family side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he didn't want to be Italian, known as Italian. So this was a big issue for a lot of Italians.
They thought that the mafia films were stereotyping them into being fearsome.
Yeah, the end result was that if you watch the entire Godfather series, you never hear them say mafia or mob the entire time.
Wow.
La Cosa Nostra.
So they protest those movies, but they don't protest Roberto Benigni.
Well, this is the thing is, I'm sorry, you were ahead of me on that. But the thing I'm saying is that this changed. First of all, without The Godfather, the mob genre would not have been so successful. This is what people wanted to see. Mario Puzo knew that, and got Marlon Brando to involved. A lot of people regard as the best actor of all time, and revive his career, and not just actor, producer, director, ever he's done. But
and also a complete prick, from what I've heard.
Usually the best ones are, unfortunately. But just saying, The Godfather. Without The Godfather, you would not have Casino. You would not have the whole Scorsese, De Niro, Joe Pesci outfit.
Well, I think Scorsese still would have done a lot of movies like that, because right around the time Godfather was released, he did Mean Streets. So I think he was already going to lead in that direction.
I've never seen that one. I'll check it out.
I have to rewatch it to even tell you what it's about, but
the genre would not have become so popular because it was controlled by the mafia. The movie itself, the production, they had no choice but to meet with the heads of the mafia, not some goons. This is how powerful the mafia was.
But they had like they met with the
Joe Colombo, the head of one of the 5 families, was the guy single-handedly involved in The Godfather, writing it.
Honestly, on one hand, my impulse would be to tell them that my immediate impulse would be go fuck yourself. On the other hand, I don't want to get hacked up in my sleep.
It wouldn't matter because the film wouldn't have been made in the first place because too many Italian people were on the streets. Remember?
Because the mob was controlling Italian opinion through through propaganda.
Propagation. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. They even if they wanted to die for their movie, they couldn't have because they couldn't shoot. Not in New York, not in Sicily either. Definitely not in Sicily.
So how would? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It would never would have been made if the mafia never made control of it completely.
Wow.
Al Capone was like the Babe Ruth. I mean, Babe Ruth today wouldn't have made the minors.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. They were selling alcohol. Think about it. The mafia at its peak was 50s to 70s.
Well, they were selling alcohol, but they followed a demand that couldn't be filled legally.
Yeah,
which is basically how all criminal enterprises are built.
Yeah, and of course they started it in Sicily and the Greater Italy, and they just moved over here. Is all.
I don't know. I'm definitely rusty on my Italian history, but anytime people start talking about The Godfather, I like to ask, is it the greatest film ever made? Because I have an opinion on it.
It's number 2 on lists that I've seen.
Yeah, and I would not put it number 2. But you know what? I'm not a guy that likes mob movies.
Oh, really?
It does not appeal to me.
Wonder. He called a Scorsese movie boring, so I was like,
smack you.
Now hold on. Did you see Silence or didn't you?
Silence? I have not seen Silence.
It's a 3-hour movie and it is boring. I'm sorry. It is, but it has nothing to do with the mob.
Yeah, he moved away from it because it was eventually a dead subject. I mean, not that the Italian mafia is dead. It's not. It's weak.
He's kind of coming back to it. He's doing like a mob Benny / Jungian movie. Yeah. The Irishman. It's about the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that connection between the union and the mafia.
That's what the movie's going to be, and they're going to do the age reversal.
Well, I just wanted to ask though, because I think you like it a lot. What about you, Jordan?
Godfather?
The Godfather.
Mm.
Would it make your top 5? Would it make your top 30?
Never fucking seen it.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember liking it.
I covered the song. I actually have seen it, but it's so long.
The instrumental song?
Yeah, I did a flamenco version of that song.
Oh, wow. Is that on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up.
Oh, yeah. You haven't heard it?
No. Oh.
It's real good. real good. Yeah, I really did a great job with it, and it only took me 12 takes.
What?
It's real flamenco. I mean, it's real an arpeggio type of guitar, a 5-finger guitar strumming very quickly.
Is it listed as the Godfather theme?
I credited Mario Puzo. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It is, and it got a lot of views on SoundCloud because of that. And I got an offer to do some soundtrack work for a guy in Belgium, a guy, Spanish, Mexico City.
Do you mean he was wanting you to compose, or he was
Yeah,
the composer
he-
wanting you to play for
He
him?
wanted me to compose and play.
Take it if you get a trip to
But
Belgium.
no, I was going to do it,
Dang.
record from home.
I imagine it'd be like a SoundCloud or a
It was
Dropbox.
it was just a small, a book. Yeah, an audio book. It wasn't for a film.
This is itching my brain right now.
That's the issue.
You don't like any Scorsese.
That is not true.
Okay, what do you
Okay.
like?
What do I like? Well, when people say Taxi Driver is probably his greatest work, I tend to agree. But
That's
a
a
lot
good
of people
movie.
say Goodfellas. I would not agree there.
You don't like the mob, but you like the loner, the dangerous loner.
You bet. Like King of Comedy.
That I was just going to ask you about that. That's my favorite Scorsese movie, I think.
Yeah, and that's at least one of them for me. I love that movie. I own it.
The best, me too. It's the best Robert De Niro performance. That's
think
I'm just
about
laying
that.
that.
You know,
I'm
I
laying that
gotta
down.
tell you, like anything, De Niro is really an actor, and in terms of range, and for instance, in Men of Honor, for instance,
Mhm.
God, just brilliant.
I love. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up
And
because
just
I might say
brilliant.
that's my favorite.
Nothing to do with the
performance.
mafia.
I need to see it again.
And nothing to do with Italians. And yeah, he's half Italian, half Jewish.
I am not
He
anti-Italian.
looks
It's just
Just like
crime.
my grandfather, actually. It's funny. My grandfather was younger, but...
Dirty Grandpa, best De Niro performance.
Oh, come
Just
on.
kidding.
Haven't seen it.
Just
I'm
kidding,
really
just
in the mood.
Just kidding.
Now, although Aubrey Plaza didn't seem to mind. Fuck her. Anyway, but De Niro, anytime he played, and back to Goodfellas, the guy, I can
Ray Liotta?
Yeah, Ray Liotta. The character that he portrayed in real life, this is just an example of how Scorsese, and the reason why his mob movies are not his best, if you care about accuracy. Because the character that Ray Liotta played, if you've ever seen a real interview with the guy, he's white trash. Just the way he talks, the way he does not carry himself like a gentleman in any sense of the word.
Maybe he went through kind of a social degeneration after he was put
You can
in
tell
witness protection.
he was well, he got arrested again anyway for moving drugs again, but after witness protection, the guy was a lowlife. I bet you didn't think twice about ratting out. I mean, but they portray him like he had some sort of honor or something. And so...
No movie based on a true story is ever going to be 100% accurate.
But some of them are further than others. And my point being is the mafia genre has made the Italian mafia like somehow better than any other, not even organized crime syndicate, any other common criminal. They're a bunch of white trash. White fucking trash. Controlled by people who have some class.
So
you want the muscle men. Yeah, a bunch of white trash, seriously.
Well, I'd never say a movie like Heat, at which I adore that movie. Have you seen Heat?
I'm not...
Jeff.
Wait.
Sorry.
Wait, are you talking about the Pacino or the Melissa McCarthy Heat?
The Heat? No,
Then
just
it's
Heat.
Heat.
Okay, Pacino.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
95.
love that movie. I love that.
I love that movie. I don't think most bank robbers are that smart.
Yeah.
But Robert De Niro has a plan. He's obviously the cream of the crop in that world. And Al Pacino is one of the best LA detectives, you know? But that's not a mob movie to me. Even though, I mean, you could say Robert De Niro. I mean, Robert De Niro plays Robert De Niro really well.
Yeah.
I think he can be versatile, but even in something like Bad Grandpa, which was, just a gross out comedy.
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa. Sorry.
Bad Santa.
Bad Grandpa is the Johnny Knoxville.
True.
Oh, God.
I'm just going from point to point, but I was just
2 movies like that.
I was just going to point out that even though I haven't seen it, I know that he plays every role, even in something like that, as straight as possible. And I think it would show some real versatility to be, the funny man. What he says is funny, but like a little more self-awareness in a movie like that.
All those movies, he was really funny.
But serious, like he plays dead funny. Serious.
So, yeah, okay.
Even a man as brilliant as De Niro, like nobody. If you stick your head in a cauldron of shit, you don't come out clean.
Good point.
Like didn't like.
I've never done that.
This is